Now, wearing your safety stuff, you're going to want to remove this radiator cap right here. Make sure it's not hot. We're going to lift it up away from our face. Perfect. Let's spray the lines that lead into the radiator. There's two on the other side. Do the same. Let's go ahead and use our forky tool. We're going to remove this from the housing. It should come right off. We'll come up here. You can use a pocket screwdriver, whatever you need to for this. Get that so it's ready to come off. We'll set that right back there. Okay, at this point, you can see you have a 10 millimeter here. You have a 10 millimeter here. One up here, one in the center, and then the same on the other side. Remove all those 10 millimeter mounting bolts. Let's use our 15 millimeter. We're going to remove the both of these, and then we're going to loosen this one and loosen the one on the other side. Looks like we don't have to loosen them. Even better. Now, once you've moved the skid plate, you can see where one of the bolts is there, and then if you were to look on the other side, it would be right behind the lines. We're going to use a 10 millimeter to remove both those bolts. Once I get it on there. There we are. We'll do the same to this one. Next, we're going to take off the fan so we have more room to get this out of the way. Take my screwdriver, that's going to hold the fan still for me. You can also use a pry bar, of course, which would make more sense. There it is. Do the same to all. Let's get this out of here. Now it's going to be time to get the lines off of the passenger side of the radiator. Use an 18 millimeter wrench to hold this portion right here, and then your 13 to remove the line. There it is. Do the same to the lower. Off of there. Now I'm going to remove these lines on this side with my 20 millimeter wrench. Oh. Let's remove the last bolt for this bracket, and we'll do the same to the other side. Take off the clamp for this hose up here. So now we can lift up the radiator, and we can make it so the petcock, which is located right down along here on the left-hand side of the radiator, is going to line up with the area where the coolant can go right down into our collection bucket. You want to make sure you recycle all of it. Open that right up. Make sure it's a controlled stream so it goes into the bucket. Now it's time to get the radiator hose off of here. To do that, you'd want to squeeze this clamp. And then move the clamp away from where the radiator is, if possible. Do the same to the lower hose. we go. Coolant's probably going to come out of this. Yeah, a little bit. It's not bad. Let's grab onto this. Make sure the lines are out of the hole there. There it is. So we've got our little adapters here. It's important to notice that there's no seal going along these threads right here, and there is a seal inside there. Make sure that seal's in there. You're going to need to use some of this white Teflon tape, or if you have the goo, you can use that as well. I'm just going to wrap this around the threads just to make a nice seal. Just a couple times. Do the same thing to the other one. Go ahead and start it in. Same thing to the other one. Use your 19mm wrench. Just make sure they're snug. Let's get the new radiator down in here. Set it down nice and easy. Line up the mounting points down along the bottom. Perfect. Let's get this bracket back on here. Do the same to the other side. Snug that up. Do the same to this one. Double check to make sure your petcock is completely closed. Nice. Let's get our lower hose back on. More coolant's probably going to come out. Make sure you put the clamp back on. If your spring clamp feels like it's not super tight and it's not holding the hose tight, make sure you replace it with a new clamp. Nice. Let's get these tranny cooler lines back on here. All right, so we're going to tighten up all these lines. I'm going to start with this one, and then I'll do this, and then over there. Now we'll do the same to this side. That lined up. Our hose, get that ready. Line up your clamp with where you took it off. Let's give it a nice wiggle. Let's get this lower piece back in here. Time to get the fan back on here. I'm going to start on all these nuts before I tighten any of them down. So let's start snugging these up. It's important to make sure that you go crisscross pattern. Make a nice X or a plus or whatever you got to do, but go from one side to the opposite side and snug them right up. Let's get this top cover on here. Slide it right down. Okay, looks pretty good. I'm going to try to line up my bolt holes here. Maybe. There it is. Starting all these bolts down along here. Do this one, and then the same to the other side. Get these upper bolts started in here. Snug them up. get this clip back in. Push this back down along here. Should sit all in the groove. Make sure you latch it in so it's secure. Let's get this back on here. Make sure you clamp it down nice and tight. If you need to use pliers, feel free. Make sure you tighten up both these bolts under here that hold the plastic. That looks great. Next, we're going to get this plate back on here. Now it's going to be time to fill the cooling system. To do that, I like to use a vacuum bleeder like this. It's going to apply vacuum to the system. It's going to go up and past the 25 here. That's negative pressure. Once it gets up to there, we're going to make sure it holds. If it starts relieving pressure, then we know we have a leak. Looks pretty good. I'm going to turn off the air. Now I'll let this sit. I want to make sure it doesn't drop anywhere lower than that 25. If it starts dropping drastically, even into the red, that's very bad. We know we have a leak. Now that we've got our vacuum holding, let's go ahead and fill it up. So now that I've finished filling it that way, I'm going to grab one of those burping funnels. I'm going to fill it up about halfway, and then I'm going to run the vehicle for a while. You want to make sure that you have the heat on and you have the fan blowing. That's going to open up the thermostat sooner, and it's going to circulate that coolant. Once that starts happening, you're going to notice a couple more air bubbles coming out and the coolant going down inside the reservoir. Once that happens and it's fully done, you would of course take that off. Make sure you close it up completely. And then of course empty out your coolant reservoir over there, replace that with some nice clean coolant as well, and then down the road you go. Something else you'd want to do, of course, would be to check your transmission fluid once it's nice and warm. You want to make sure that the level's perfect while you're on a nice level surface. And while you're at it, go ahead and check that oil level. Make sure that's topped off as well because, well, we lost a little bit of fluid from both of those when we did the radiator.